Yeah, I do. And I think the house is going to be done like in the next like 6 weeks. So it would be awesome to kind of like start to figure out, like for me, I have like the kid audience and the mommy and me audience. And then I have the adult mom or women that likes to like is a women for women entrepreneur kind of audience. And so both of those.
The thing is the block printing can go for both of those audiences really easy.
Yeah.
Really easily.
Okay.
Because we could do full on block printing, like you're carving a block.
Yeah, that's what we did in Kenya.
Or we can do the kid version of it, which also works really well for adults, which is taking sticky back foam, drawing your design on the back of the foam, cutting it with scissors, sticking the foam onto foam core, making your own stamp that way.
Cute.
And it can reap the same look in the end as the time it takes to carve wood and spend all that time. So we could do the wood carving or whatever with an adult, and we could do the other one with the kids, or we could do that just low threshold entry point across the board, kids and adults. But the adults get to up level what the design looks like. It can be more intricate. We can add in mantra words. We can, we can do a whole meditation around it, getting into your, and so it's like, the idea is that it's rooted in this craft that the artisans in Kenya are doing.
Yeah.
But you're taking the idea, the craft of it, and then you're injecting your own personality into it. So what they end up printing can be like, we could have a lot of inspiration on all of the different textiles and all of the different shapes and patterns and all that stuff. And you could make patterns, and then you can also do your word that resonates with you. Then you have a bag that means something deeply to you. It's rooted in the experience of the traditions of Kenya block printing in Kenya, and it's also rooted in self-discovery.
Yeah.
And in your voice coming out, which is essentially what you want to give to the girls in Kenya.
Yeah, it's
ability
like
to have their voice come out.
And so that's what I feel like would sell to like a Jean Trebek too. Like she is a new age, like she really is, we would resonate with a lot of what she says. And I feel like I don't know her, what makes her tick yet, like in terms, like what makes her tick, like who would be the audience for her that I could go out and reach and then say to her, hey, we need your help just building this out. Like we need to hire experts right now in Kenya. We need to go get great materials so we can make these like all that kind of stuff. So, but I like damn, are we, oh good, you're recording this. Yep. Good. I'm gonna go back and listen to that.
I mean, I started recording when you said you should hire Christy. So,
oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I know.
And I agree.
Like come back and forth with like how, I love the affirmations and I love the block printing. I love the paper dresses. I love the dolls. Like there's a whole thing there that I need to just wrap my head around and start, moving forward. But when I start to think about a school, then I'm like, oh, that's stupid. What am I going to do? I'm going to walk in with like 40 kids. I don't have anything. Like it's going to be a disaster. Like, oh shit.
Well, so it's so funny that it's so funny you're bringing this up, because I literally I was so pissed last night because I got an email from both of the kids' schools about things that made me think, what the fuck are we doing in this stupid school system? Like I cannot deal with this anymore. So,
right. Bring on the life school.
Yes. And I was just like, I can't handle this. Like the teacher literally, okay, you guys, this hurts me internally. Okay. The teacher for Kieran, they're fourth graders, sent an email that said, we welcome Valentine's. Make sure you bring one for every kid in the class. That's 30 kids. Sure, of course you're going to do that. But instead of addressing them to each child, make sure you address every single Valentine to my friend, because that makes it easier for us to pass them out. Okay, that went against every single, I'm like, first of all, that's so fucking generic. Second of all, this is phoning it in. Third of all, don't we want to teach kids that their names matter, their identities matter, that I looked at you and said, I made this thing for you. I didn't just like go and buy it. And maybe you do go and buy it, but you still, even if you go and buy it from fucking CVS, you write somebody's name on it. You
Right.
address it to a human. And I'm sorry if that means you have to spend 5 more minutes to organize fourth graders to be able to pass it around. Sorry, I'm going on a tirade, but it goes
No,
back to
do
this
it.
idea.
Amelia's been working on her Valentine's for 3 weeks.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I was like, oh my God. And so like, this goes back to what you're saying is that like, they're having a Valentine's Day party and they're literally buying white bags and buying pre-made stickers and some gel
Right.
pens.
Yeah,
And I
it's
was
so
like,
robotic.
I could come in and teach these children how to make a Valentine's stamp,
Right.
but they've only allotted 30 minutes for the whole party, for the whole craft. And I'm like,
Hmm.
what's the matter? You know, like,
Yeah.
anyway, so I'm just saying, like, I think there's a market for what you're talking about, where you go into schools that are desperately in need of something that opens kids' eyes to something bigger than worksheets and bigger than pre-made stickers. And that's our creative flow, right?
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is, and I'm getting heated over it, because the fact of the matter is that creativity gets pushed to the side, and creativity is the fucking source of
Yeah.
any piece of innovation that ever happened in the whole history of history.
Yeah.
Like, you have to snap into something different than what's happening in order to make any kind of change. And that takes creativity, it takes courage, it takes curiosity, it takes like serendipity, it takes play, it takes pleasure, it takes all of these things that our kids are being told are frivolous. And you're talking about something that's actually really important, changing someone's life across the globe. And the only way we're going to get there is if we connect on a creative level. And you are giving these people, these women, opportunity through creativity.
Mhm.
And what a message to send kids here, that through your creativity, through your ability to connect, through your collaboration, through your internal thinking,
Yeah.
you can
my
change
gosh.
the world.
I'm going to read you this quote. I read that book, Untamed, and kind of like going through now and just like highlighting some things, and by Glennon Doyle. And one of the things that she says is that imagination is the shortest distance between two people, two cultures, two ideologies, and two experiences. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so telling. Because like the piece I want this to be a creative endeavor. I always want to mirror what's going on in the college. I want there to be relevance rooted in, there's an exchange, real exchange that happens. Like there's skill building that they need like to survive. And for us, maybe it's a little bit more of a creative endeavor, but either way, it's like this incredible, like that's all it is. Like, what if someone's holding a Penda doll that actually has like a burqa on it? Like, what if she looks like a Muslim doll? Like, I imagine a little girl having a conversation with her little doll that looks like a Muslim. That's
I'm going to go back to something you just said. Something you just said, that it's like, that is, and I don't know, I'm going to butcher how you said it, because you said it really nicely, but you basically said they're learning skills for their survival.
Yeah.
Rooted in creativity.
Yeah.
And you said, and maybe ours is just for fun or just for creativity. And I would argue that they're the same things.
Yeah.
That us opening the door to creativity is our survival skill. It's the only way we're going to keep going. It's the only way we're going to grow. It's the only way anything different from today is ever going to happen. Right.
Yeah.
And so I would argue we're not that different. Theirs is maybe a very like survival in terms of like
feeding
this
their tummy.
Acute thing, but ours is also survival for living and breathing and believing and expanding. Because think about, before you started down this path of self-development, how painful have each of us talked about that experience was, right? As painful as this whole like expansion is, we would never go back. We would never go back to before our eyes were open. We would never. It was painful. You'd wake up and be like, what is today? What am I living for? What is going on? Why am I in this? Why am I stuck in a marriage? Why am I moving across the country? Like what? Why am I keeping this dog? What, like, what is it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't go back there. So it's like, it is for our survival. And, yeah, it's not that different than like what I constantly say about softball. It's like I learned everything I ever needed to learn on the softball field, and it's truth. because it's about experience. It's about being in it and feeling it. So like, I'm going down this path because I think you start down this thing like, oh, I don't know, approaching schools about this. Yes, it's what they need. They're craving it. They need it.
Yeah.
They need it even
And
if they
I
don't
think-
know they
I
need
do
it.
think like that when I start to get back to the sales, like to a model of supporting the dream I want of just starting paying 3 girls, like I said, you know, whatever that fair wage is per doll. Okay, like I'm trying to drill it down to a place where it's palatable versus like this huge social enterprise concept. And so it's like, okay, then it gets here. And there's several umbrellas that I can start to distribute Pendo. There's the umbrella of like a more traditional retail model, which is boutiques. And if we drop the price point, maybe that's like a great way to go as well. Then there's sort of this umbrella of outreach, which is a little bit more in my lane of my background in education and like what you're talking about, like innovation, you know, a kit. I don't know what it is. And so I need to keep kind of like, I need to hire you and help flush out this idea. And then there's sort of this give back piece, like where we can go and collaborate with like some of these companies and say, we have this doll, can we work together to, you know, so I have to like, that's kind of where my head's at. It's so flustering to me to not be clear on this stuff. Period.
Yeah, but you're in the incubation, you're in the ideation, right? The pie in the sky, what could it be? And so, yeah, like in terms of like wanting to hit the ground running and get something out there, that's frustrating, but it's also just like this really beautiful space where you can dream for a little while and be in the dream. And then from that, we can drill it down. That's the easy process, is drilling it down. The easy process is like getting rid of stuff, right? But right now you need to think about how big it can be. Think about all those
I agree.
all those avenues. The other thing I was going to say, just in line with this, like the Jilly box idea or whatever, there was a box that I had coming for a while called Alltrue, ALLTRUE, and it started out as Cosbox.
Yeah, I know them. Oh my God, what the fuck with that owner though? Like,
Oh, I
sorry.
don't know anything about it, but I ended it.
So Cosbox, it's switched anyways to Alltrue, but yeah.
I ended it because I got frustrated with some stuff, but their whole thing is built on celebrating businesses and artisans that have a cause behind them.
Yeah.
So, and so there's a lot of earrings that come there that have been created in Africa or India or, stuff like that, or boutique blankets, stuff like that. So, I'm just thinking like, is there, and I'm not sure that's the company you want to go down, but go work with. But what I'm thinking is there a avenue, like KB was saying, where you can just start having Pendo dolls be featured in a lot of these different kinds of boxes. So you don't have to partner with just one of them, but it's like, this is a cause-based artifact piece that, and even, even some of the other pieces, maybe it's not just the doll, but it's like
we can make paper dresses that are as small as perhaps the Pendo doll. So like, we've got the paper dresses that are an asset that are easy for us to kind of replicate and make and meaningful. And then we have the dolls, and maybe
I'm also thinking that it's instead of you having to come up with like how you would actually get a box running on your own, like producing your own kits,
right?
Like your way in is to produce one thing for other boxes.
Yeah.
Like so you don't have to think through the distribution and like all of this crazy stuff yet. Yeah. That can be on the trajectory of where you want to get. I mean,
that is so smart because you're leveraging their audience, right?
You're leveraging their audience. And then once you build all of that, and it's pretty low threshold for you, it's basically producing the dolls and getting them to them, right? And maybe it's dresses, and maybe the next step is with the dresses, you actually, in their boxes, you provide a kit where people can decorate their own dresses. So it comes with the dress and the markers or whatever, and then it's like they get the dress, and then the thing is that you provide an activity with guides on like, here are 5 different Kenyan block printing patterns.
Yeah. Maybe what
inspiration.
I love it. I love all of this. This is so good. Maybe what I could do
Yeah.
is like research the Jillian Harris, the All True, and then literally start to like craft like a little bit of what you're talking about and then run it by you. Like then
Yeah.
riff with you guys about, because I think that's a great, that's the smart thing to do. I feel like is to go partner with people.
Right.
Not
Well,
to
Right.
go
what
make
what it is
myself.
it's dipping your toe in and seeing, does it resonate? Is it working, without having to like build the whole system behind it? Because what if you're
Right.
trying to build the whole system behind a distribution of these boxes, what you're going to get bogged down in is who's backing the boxes, how am I getting it shipped? Okay, so clear that out of your way so that you can test, is there a market for this?
Mhm.
Do
Yeah.
people want it? What works, what doesn't? And it's like, you're still going to have distribution of getting the dolls to these companies
Yeah.
or whatever, but that's low threshold. That's not a big deal, right?
I
You
mean, I
can
have
do-
someone that like going back to that boutique store, like I'm gonna call her and just be exactly me, like, hey, what would it take for me to sell into like a retail store as well? Like, do I need a sell sheet, like a press kit? Like, what do you need to walk into
Yep.
some of these very small boutique stores? So it's not like the Nordstrom, like you're not selling in this huge.
You might find that you don't need much to go into a small boutique store because they're about small art, small.
I know, like
small
that
batch
store,
art.
Burrow in
Yeah.
Venice, like they would be, so the price point we're talking about, because look, $100, a ragdolls, even high-end ragdolls are like cap out at 60 at best. So it's like, and wholesale is like 2.5 times what, the markup for them. So it's like, but again, if I could go back to this piece of like shifting to a place of like, let's get this fucking Pendo in everybody's hands.
How
Like,
is-
what are we doing?
How is
Why are we-
wholesale? I
yeah,
thought
wholesale
that,
like 2 times or 2.5 times.
well, okay.
So like if I sell on
That's
20,
interesting because I mean, I've just heard that, and you might want to listen if you didn't already listen to Kathy's episode with the chick that makes,
brick kit.
shoot, no. She makes the sweatshirts and they're like $185.
Oh, lingua franca.
No, but I'll send it to you. It's recent, like, this year. It's some brand in LA, but anyway, she just said, it's whatever my production cost, I double it for wholesale. So it cost me $50 to make it. Wholesale is going to be $100. They're going to sell it for $2.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I mean, and that's what always, like the little shops that I've worked in, and
You sell it
just
so basically it's a 2-time markup. It's like if you're selling something for 10, they sell it for, or it's wholesale for 10, MSRP for 20.
Yep.
Gosh, really? Okay.
But,
Hold on,
but
wait,
it
so
depends
her
on
cost-
the brand, and then they can do it for whatever. So she
Yeah.
was so she'd sold it on her site. She was like, okay, well, it cost me $50. If I was selling this to the store, I would charge them $100. I'm going to sell it direct to the customer. So I'm going to sell it for $200, which is how
Yeah.
much the store would sell it.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait.
they're
Okay, say that
$200.
over again. I just want to make sure I'm
So-
following. Okay, if it costs $50 to make it,
Then
They
you
sell
sell
it
it
for
for
$100.
wholesale for $100.
you sell
I've
it
heard
to someone else
2.5.
for $100. Then they
Yep.
mark it up double. So they mark it up to $200. So then you sell it on your site for $200 because you want to keep the same price.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought I just want to make sure I was.
That's what
following.
I need to kind of
That's
find
what I
out. Like, what is I don't understand that model enough for like specifically for a doll, like what's the typical sort of process that takes place both from a.
But the dolls that you're comparing it to are not dolls that are in their first 22 seconds of production. So I don't think that, it's like saying, well, how come Blackberry Farm has no vacancies for a year for their bed and breakfast, and I have all these weekends that are open? I can't compare myself to them. Like, they are
I think that's
established,
true, but the thing that I've realized is that when so obviously you're going after a certain buyer, right? That walks into like a Burrow or the very like cute little boutique chic stores.
Sure.
But if you're not there to tell the story, no one's throwing down $100 in general for a doll That's it. Just like
You have
most,
your
Then we-
marketing, your design and marketing, your packaging has to tell the story.
Right,
It tells the story.
exactly.
It tells the
Exactly.
story. And then the other thing
Hire
is
Christy.
I know, Jesus. Uh-huh.
that tells the
Before
story. And
I
then
agree. I have one thing to say before I forget because my menopause brain will forget it. So I'm interrupting. Kaylee, did you talk to her about the intern thing?
No,
As
I
well?
haven't.
Okay, you should do that. But also, she is doing a launch for Lead Hership, that book,
Yeah.
which is all about women's
Yes,
empowerment
I'm
in person. Are you going in person? They're doing an in-person event in, where is it?
I
Let
am
me tell you.
on the docket to talk.
At the summit.
Yes, but I
Yes.
am not.
But they're also doing an in-person launch, and I'm wondering if you should talk to her about Pendo. And
She knows about Pendo and she was pumped. She's like, what can we do? What can we do? Like, she
well,
was,
you could
Tell
say,
her you should be at the launch.
yeah,
yeah, but what are we gonna do? Sell her? I mean, that would be it, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's
Who is
the
this?
idea.
share your
Yeah.
story. And
Yeah.
who is this?
Um,
Sorry. Kaylee?
Kaylee, yeah, they're doing in-person launch. Oh goodness, when is it? I should know because I'm doing this all the time. Hold on, I'll tell you.
Chrissy, when you
Friday,
did-
March 10th in Newport
Website.
Beach.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, right by
Friday,
the-
March 10th in Newport Beach.
So I would talk,
Yeah,
I mean, I
I'll
don't think
tell
I'm
her.
talking out of turn. They're telling people, like, they're getting people to go. It's all part of the launch, and she knows I know you, so I don't think it's
Yeah.
an issue. So just let her know I met you
Okay.
and I were talking about the summit, and then I mentioned to you the launch party. But you could go in person, but you could talk to her about it beforehand because there are 14 so far, I think, that are going of these
Okay.
high-powered leadership women who
Yeah.
are just the women you need to stand on a soapbox and talk about Pendo.
And everyone's going to be telling the story. You're not the only one telling the story.
Yeah.
But like Christy said, the packaging is telling the story. The
Yeah.
the
Also-
story's going to be not
I need water. I'm coming
reduced, but narrowed down so that it can just be repeated. But this woman, Kaylee, I don't know who she is, but I know her name
Yeah.
goes around a lot. She
Mhm.
already asked you, how can we do, what can
Yeah,
we
she
do?
did.
So
That's a no-brainer.
when you,
Right.
if you can, when
Mhm.
you say, I thought of a way that you can help, I'll present at your launch party, not,
Yeah.
you know how to speak boldly on behalf of this beautiful cause.
Mhm.
And you don't have to discount, like, I don't, I'm just saying, not that you do that, but I had to just write some questions to my lawyer. I was having a call with her and someone suggested you should write down your questions in an email. So, because by the hour, I don't want her to turn into my
Yeah.
therapist. Like, I want to just like get the information.
Totally.
And you would have been so pissed
Mhm.
if you read these questions. Like, as I was writing them, it's like, who is this disempowered mouse of a woman saying, how can I just need to find out if it's okay if I just need a little bit of money before the settlement, and I don't know how to get money out of our account, and I don't know if I'm allowed to, and I need some, but he did just give me $20,000, and so I don't know if I'm allowed. I'm like, what the actual fuck? He didn't give me $20,000. I accessed a portion of the money that is available to me. Like,
That
that's
you
how
helped
it is.
build. That you
That's
helped
right.
build.
That's right. And he wasn't arguing with me. I created this whole narrative of me not being allowed to have access to what is here for me.
I know. I
And
noticed on
I
your,
don't want you to do that.
I know.
Go ahead,
Well,
you
I
noticed
saw on
on
your
what?
podcast title you wrote with Cindy, to give and receive. And I was like, oh my God, like the receive part is still so
So big.
challenging for me, not in a
Right.
generic way, but more like, I feel like if someone does something for me via Element Girls, I have to like repay it 1,000 times over. And it's like,
No.
because I'm not, and I even do that with Pendo, like, is she good
Mhm.
enough? you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
It's
What are you
amazing how
talking
we, like-
about? We're not charging $100 for her.
Well, okay, well, hang on. The price point one, I can make an argument about that more from a competitive standpoint and also like
Okay.
a stack 'em high, selling cheap as opposed to a worthiness issue. But I definitely recognize that I also put it off on Pendo. But there's some real things that she needs to.
But you also don't need to make that decision. You need to let the
Right. Market.
audience make that. You're predetermining
Yeah,
what
Yep.
someone's going to pay.
that's
if
true.
someone
If I had the
if someone
opportunity
says no,
to be in front of someone to
then
pitch it as a donation, and this is what you're doing. Every doll pays for a month of school. Like, oh my gosh, how impact! Like that's amazing. But in a retail environment, it shifts
but
to
Christy
a
just
different
told you
set of
the
reality.
packaging needs to say that.
The
Right,
packaging
like
needs to
the
say that.
deciding.
seed bag. That
The
seed
packaging needs to
bag.
say that. And also, if you're going into small boutiques, there is an opportunity for you to educate
That's right.
the people who work
I
there.
know pop-ups. I
Yeah.
can do pop-ups.
But not only
Yes, you
but
can.
pop-ups are great, but I'm talking about there's an opportunity for you to educate the workers to
Mhm.
have a onboarding onto Pendo dolls for the
Mhm, yeah.
owner
Yep.
and everybody who works a shift in there.
Yep,
And they
yep.
get, and maybe it's an onboarding workshop where we come in and we block print with those people.
Mhm.
They feel what empowerment feels like. They have the experience. They go through the whole idea of what Pendo dolls stand for, why you're selling them, why they exist, what they
Yep.
do. Each doll puts a girl through school. You are saving a girl from becoming a child
Yep.
bride by this purchase, this $100. And so then you get your ambassadors who are working in there. So if they see somebody shopping, first of all, it's good for the shop because if they sell $100 doll, that's good for them, right?
Mhm.
Instead of selling the $30 doll, that's better for them. So
Right.
they have a stake in it too. So you
Mm.
get people, you evangelize this and you get
Yes.
people behind it. So you've got the
This
packaging,
happened.
you got the packaging and it's simple. It's like, buy this doll, put a girl in school.
Right.
Right. That's powerful.
Right.
That's
One doll, like you have the little
one
map.
for one.
This
It's like a
happened.
yeah.
I worked at this little shop and the guy, the representative for Libico linen, I don't know if you know Libico Home, fine Belgian linen. He came to our shop. It's this the whole entire shop could fit in my kitchen. It's so small.
Really?
And it's in Concord. It's darling. And he came because the owner was very charismatic. Anyway, he did a 2-hour presentation to the 3 of us that work there and whoever clients wanted to come. I am a freaking evangelist for Libico linen. I can tell
Yes.
you so much about linen, about this brand and about other brands that I won't bore you. And the same thing with the laundress. And I still sell their products. I haven't worked at that shop for 8 years.
Exactly. And you know why? You know why? Because you now have a personal connection
That's right.
with that brand, that mission, and that person.
That's
And
right.
so forevermore, until that personal connection is tarnished in some way or something, forevermore, there's no reason why you wouldn't pick that over
That's right.
the competitor.
Right.
Right?
And it's $2,500 for the sheets for my bed. And you better damn believe it, I have them. Because
Yeah.
they're an heirloom and the Queen of England sleeps on those. And in 125
I mean,
years,
this is
they're gonna
really
look
good to hear because
exactly
we
the same.
definitely have had this pendulum swing of like stack them high, sell them cheap, you know, to the extent that like, why are we making this so difficult for people to access? Like, if anything, the win is that we want to pay. So there's probably somewhere like, I mean, this is
What's
great.
the price point of blah blah dolls?
Yeah, the blah blahs are about around 60, like 40 to 60, like Cuddle and Kind is about 50 to 70. Deumiers are like 40 to 70. Like we could be
Okay.
on the higher end. Mhm.
Okay, but then on the flip side, you've got like American Girl dolls.
Yeah, but those
Right.
are dolls as opposed to rag dolls. These are rag dolls. So,
Okay,
they're
but
they're
really,
dumb.
hold on.
the American girls you could play with their hair. I mean, really, like from a competitive landscape standpoint, you can't even compare. That's total apples and oranges.
But it is in terms of that. But if we start thinking about it conceptually,
Mhm.
and if you want to play in that game, then think about is there some element of innovation that you can do to the Pendo doll to elevate it where there's some element of that happening for it too? I'm not saying like go and put some silky hair in so they can brush
Yeah.
it,
Right.
because that doesn't.
But I
seem
think
in alignment.
make clothes. I think make clothes.
Yeah, I think
for
the
it.
clothes piece, for sure, there's like. a
Because
brand-
it's in
there's a lot
line
of
with
ways
the
to, like,
sewing,
extend the brand to have
Yeah.
it be,
but
make.
not
but
a
I-
bathtub, please. I don't want a
Right, but this
stupid
is-
bathtub.
But this is what I'm saying, like, if you extend it and you have, okay, your initial investment is to buy a $100 doll, that's a rag doll. But
Yeah.
this opens the world to, okay, now there's these sewing kits. Okay, now I'm teaching my daughter a skill. Oh, wait, there's a book series.
Maybe they get a
about the-
paper dress that they get to block print,
They get
as
to
a
block
upsell,
print.
Like when
Like
they
I
end
said,
up
like,
with
there's a graphic novel about the challenge of a girl's life in Africa.
I mean, Pendo
There's
would be the cutest little book, by the way.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. And so
Hello?
the reason why I don't
my
think
God,
that
I
American
can
Girl
barely focus
doll,
on Pendo. I can't get going with it. Oh my God. Like
the
that.
reason why I don't think that American Girl doll is apples and oranges is because what I'm saying is you're selling a world to step into.
That's right.
You're selling the Pendo doll world. The entry point is the doll, and that's the highest price point there is at this
Right.
point. It's like entry into the exclusive club,
That's right.
entry into the golf club, entry into the blah blah blah, right? It's like you have now entered the world of the Pendo doll, and the doll is the artifact of the action that happens in Africa. But all it is here, it's just the entry point so that American girls or girls around the world can start to have an experience of expansion, learning, global citizenship, all stuff, but also you're selling it in, they're learning a skill. They're going to learn
Right.
to sew. Even if they're
And they're
sewing-
gonna live
if
to
you're sewing-
care. They're
Yeah.
gonna learn to care.
Yeah. Okay, Christy, we need to chat. So by the way, March 16th, if you're available that night, I would be so happy to pay you for 2 hours. Because I got the school to do like a PP, like there's like 16 people coming and they're gonna do, I'm trying to work with the art teacher there to do a block printing experience. And so,
Okay.
my gosh, you're like, you could be my board member and we could go in like a little powerhouse team to talk to them. And we're hoping like 16 women. Many of these women, maybe some of these women I've already kind of like approached and have pitched in, but it would be kind of awesome to have you there. But even outside of that,
Yeah. I mean, okay, I think so.
but
We're gonna-
outside of that, yeah, we should talk because I am at this place of beginning to like look at these channels of revenue. I mean, I know there's a lot of balls in the air with like the pay the girl, like, but we're going towards this women art, like ideally going towards this women artisan, co-op or, headquarter, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know if they're salaried yet, contract, like, I don't know exactly how we're going to do it, but I want to give it a go, but I need to be able to push and be accountable and have a great like way to walk into confidently into some of these situations and crush it.
Okay, just tell me the time on March
Oh,
16th.
and that, I think it's going to be in the evening.
Okay,
Like, I think it's like I'll find out, but I think it is like a 5 to 7 deal. We're just
What's
starting.
the date of that launch, KB?
March 10th.
Okay. Can you put that on your calendar also, please?
Yeah, I am.
Thank you. Maybe Christy can go too.
Yeah, I think, like you could do an
Yeah, like
alliteration
how-
thing
what do
too,
you-
like
yeah,
talk
what
to
do we
them,
need to
go
do to
talk to
hire
those
her?
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And what
will.
do we need to do to hire Christy?
I know.
Like what?
Well,
Like, no, I'm asking you,
I
like,
think I
what do we
need to
need? Like,
know,
is
like-
this a board thing? Do I need to raise money? Like
yeah,
what?
do I have to
what
get
is
off the
that?
board if you want to hire me? I don't know.
Oh,
Does that-
shit, I didn't even think about that. Well,
I don't know.
um,
Anyway,
yeah, we'll figure it out. You should think about it because I think the ins and outs of like,
Yeah, she's the person.
Yeah, you are. Especially like when it comes to pulling in all these little pieces of like, I get little flashes of like inspiration with like a word, but I can't like get it all like this, like the
Yeah.
flow.
Well,
So-
so this is so not funny. This is the way the world works, right? I woke up this
Right.
morning
Mhm.
and had this ridiculous download that I was like, okay, I'm coming on the call today and I'm telling Wendy, we just need to book the time because I'm having a retreat at your house, at your place.
Yes, yes,
And I'm
you
just doing
are.
it. Like, I don't know what it's going to be
I
yet, but it's
feel
going to be
it
amazing.
too.
I'm like, I'm
Yes,
just,
I feel it
and
too.
block printing is like my jam. So I'm like, okay, I
Yep.
can make that shit happen really easy. The mantra stuff, so that you're like block printing and words. And I'm like,
Oh my
this is
God, like
validation, and I'm going to do it
Django.
with Cindy, and then we're going to go do
Oh,
it there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is kind of in your domain, and I don't know if you saw well, I'll have to have you just come over and we can do a little powwow in the casita, because I have all the stuff that I brought back from Kenya, and it's very inspirational in terms of like what the girls did. It was pretty amazing with the block print, like making little mud huts out of a block print, and gorgeous florals that are in Malindi, and just like, it was very, very cool.
Cindy, how
Um,
much does it cost to go to Kenya?
Yeah,
Like
It's
when you
about
last went, when you
1,500
last went.
for a flight, for the flights.
Okay.
It's about 1,200 for a round trip coach from LA to
Okay.
Nairobi, but then you got to do like the flight up to Malindi, all the transfers, all that
Okay.
kind of stuff.
So $2,000 for flight. And then what
Yeah, I
else?
think you could get it for like $1,500. And then I paid around almost 175 for like a really pretty nice hotel, and all your meals are included. And then transportation is always provided by, like it's been very inexpensive for me to just move around, because the team, shuttles me around.
And
They-
how long do you typically go there?
I mean, I guess it's ranged from 10, at the beginning I was going for like 10 days. So basically like a week, because it
Right.
takes 2 days to get out there kind of. So
Right.
it's a good, it's like 11 hours to somewhere in Europe, or 10 hours.
Mhm.
And then you're going all the way down. So it's like another 10. So it's a
Okay.
good 20 to 21 hours of flying. And then,
Right.
2
But
weeks.
for $4,000, so $4,500 for 2 weeks.
No, I think that's too much. I don't think it would actually cost that much. I'll have to look at my
Okay.
budget. I think it's actually a little bit less. Yeah,
Okay,
I-
because I think we should all go.
yeah, I know. I think it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Christy's like,
No, I am. No, I was 100%.
I'm talking about Mexico.
I know.
This is like-
Listen, I opened the floodgate there. I just need someone. If I'm going with you,
Yeah,
worried.
Yeah,
Right.
the
I
place
mean,
is
you
really
want-
nice. The hotel is really nice. It feels very
and you
contained.
need content, and
Mhm.
like we can bust it out.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you guys should look at that for like 2024. If we could talk, I think
Why? It's February. What is the why?
Well, shoot.
Why?
Because I don't think everybody could just pick up and go this year.
Well,
That's
maybe we can stay off of our side of the street. You're telling people how much they can already pay for a doll you haven't even offered to them yet.
Oh
You're
my
telling
God, I
me
do, huh?
when I can go to Kenya, I'm the one asking the questions.
Oh, well, stand
Like,
back,
I'm-
my friend. I like
No,
it.
I mean,
Do you have a
I'm
tennis? Do you
serious.
have a tennis court near you?
I
I'd love to
don't.
go play tennis with you.
Oh my gosh, we'll play right here. I mean, honestly, I think that it's really, if Christy wakes up and she's supposed to have a retreat, then get it on the calendar. Like these things that are coming to us are not for us to file away for the next time we think about. No,
No,
We've
I know.
asked-
Well, that's
we're
the exact
asking to be
epiphany.
we're asking to be divinely guided, and then we get divinely guided, and then we like have 32 things of why that
Awesome.
really wasn't the thing we just asked for, so we'll just wait till the next time
Yeah.
it comes around.
Yeah.
When will that be?
Okay,
I'm gonna go
find out some
again
prices,
in
because I have my
2024.
budget. I have my budget, so I'm going to come back to you guys with some real prices.
Please do.
Figure out the budget, figure out working scenario. Wendy, let's figure out a time,
Yeah.
because because for me, the epiphany was I'm never gonna be ready.
Yeah,
And so I'm just gonna do it, and who cares?
because
Like,
you're gonna do 1,000 of them.
Exactly.
You're not
To
just gonna
get the
do
ball
one.
rolling. Yeah.
Yes.
Just get the ball rolling.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wendy. Ooh, it's a good
The
one.
other thing,
Please.
It's electrifying today.
good. I wanted to ask a question because in one of the last calls, Wendy, you were talking about your prayer and what you ask for. And I felt like I wrote it in my ridiculous notes and I can't find it anywhere. And it was like, I feel like you were saying like, every morning I get up and I ask something
taking
about
care
like, how do I get out of the way?
Oh, how can I be of service?
How can I be of service? And then it was like beyond that, you were like, you were really
think
lit up that day and you were just like,
Whatever drops in is what I do that day.
Yeah.
Like I just ask every morning, how may I be of service? I walk out the door, the sun is coming up, I open my arms wide. If there are people stopped in traffic on Main Street and they're always there at that time, they are probably looking for me. Oh, here's when that crazy lady comes out of her house with her arms out. And I just say, how may I be of service? And whatever drops in is what I do that day. And it's my habit. Like I don't even I guess it's intention. I walk out the door, the muscle memory of my arms going out and these words falling out of my mouth, it just happens now because it's my habit. So I'm changing the word of habit to ritual for like the habits that mean something to me. Those are rituals. And I feel like it elevates
Just one more
it.
time. Would you repeat
I'm
the part what you go out and do?
Yeah, I walk out the door and the sun is coming up and I open my arms wide and I say, how may I be of service? That's it. I do it every day. And whatever drops in is what I do that day. And as I walk toward the barn, I say, thank you for this beautiful barn renovation. Thank you for commercial kitchen space, for bathrooms, for a studio apartment. As I'm walking in, open floor plan, heated floors, beautiful windows, lighting, gorgeous tables and chairs, all the fabulous people that will come here that will be transformed, the beautiful artisans that get to be in their bliss and in their gifts, creating this gorgeous space, me getting to live this beautiful life. And I'm walking through, and that there's a place for all of this farm equipment and the chickens, and everyone is safe from predators. And it's just such a beautiful space. And it is my home, and it is not for me. And I am a steward of it. And so it is every day. Can't sit for that. Gotta stand. That's how you get it hot in here.
Getting the sweat.
right. That's what I need. That's what I'm trying to get you warmed up over there.
Oh my gosh.
That's right. How are you doing
Honestly.
with the minus something
Oh,
degree?
it's warm now. It's like 40 today.
I'm listening.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that was crazy. It's like, you just don't know what you don't know. And it on the way home from Vermont, it was the most crazy thing. Did I tell you guys about that drive home? I told Katie, yeah. It was it was insane. And it ended up being a 2-hour meditation of me shoveling snow with no power and just being so thankful for a great weekend. And after driving 8 hours in the snow, which should have been 2.5-hour drive, and coming home and there's no power and the house sitter locked the door and all the things. So it's just, I know that I am living in an alternate universe. I know that the people driving by, if they knew the thoughts in my heart and the words that come out of my mouth, would think that I am totally crazy. And it would be impossible for me to care less about what they think, because they are not my client.
Proud of you for that. That's amazing.
Thank
Wendy.
you.
I'm really want to authentically live that. I haven't gotten it yet, but
I'm drawing my people to me. Thank you.
Yeah, your website, by the way, because I was going to post today with promoting, and the website looks great. That
Thank
one
you.
photo that you have, that top photo with the, like, the
Oh,
top and the pretty darn beautiful.
thank you. That was a beautiful photo shoot. Yeah.
meeting. Okay.
Thank you. No, please do. Yeah, I want this for you. I want this for me. It's available.
KB,
So
how are
we
you
have-
doing? Oh, sorry.
No, good.
Good. Yeah. Uh, busy as usual, but good.
How is going post crazy ladies?
Yeah.
They're good. I haven't heard from them.
Brilliant.
Knock on wood. So I think that's all wrapped up. One of the really crazy ones sent me a question, but she was pretty respectful in her question, and I responded, and she was like, "Thank you so much." And she sent an email saying she was so excited because she had so many downloads, and it was, thank you to me and the team, and that was nice. But I didn't really take too much of that in. I was just like, "Oh, thank you," because if you let in the good, you got to let in the bad. It's like a screen door. You don't just get the sunshine, you get the bugs as well. So you have to take both. But it's good. And yeah, what else? Kind of changing some things around with how I'm working with people, doing more like focused days and focused projects. And I'm moving away kind of from the like ongoing, weekly, like just kind of shifting to more, hey, you need some help, I have Tuesday. Like
Yeah.
I did a VIP workshop program last week, and it was like, a launch, but it was really good actually. I like the people who do launches that have a lot of meat, where you cannot have to take their program, but you like it was low entry. I think it cost me $45 or something, and then they upgraded for the VIP so I could have all the replays from $70. Those are really good low ticket things. I sign up for those often with the people that I like. And it was actually really good. They talk about one of them, which, I mean, I'm going to put this out to all of my clients, former and current. They do she suggests doing a punch list VIP day, where you basically say to them, you can book me for a day. Let's take your running to-do list. You prioritize the list. We'll work through it. We may or may not get through all of the things. But you basically have my undivided attention for one day. And then we just go through your stuff. But I'm going to do some other things. I just pitched a podcast launch in a new way now that I've had that crazy experience, to someone on a much smaller scale, but in that kind of a VIP style. So it's like doing it all in 1 week, but just doing one episode and the trailer, but like their intro, their outro, their music, all the things. And she said yes. So that's cool.
That's good.
Yeah. So it was a direct result of that crazy experience.
Yeah.
Learning.
How did you pitch it?
Did
you just email them, or?
It was funny because, well, not funny, because we know these things happen for a reason. It's a client that I have existing, and she's kind of like a burst kind of person, which is, she's really great. Like it's fine. That's just her style.
Yeah.
And anyway, she's been working with a business coach, but she used to have a radio show. Like this is her thing. She used to have a radio show. Way back when, all those things. She's a performance coach, and so she's wanted to do this for a while, but she is a very busy woman. Like she has 4 kids. She works full time. She's a triathlete. Like she's super busy. Wow. Anyway, she's finally ready, and she's been working on it. And then she came to me and said, "Hey, do you know anything about podcasts?" And I was like, "Well, as a matter of fact." And then she said, "Can you tell me what you've worked on?" And I've never put that together before. And I was like, started typing it all. I'm like, geez, a lot of stuff here.
Right.
And so I sent it all to her, and I said to her, I'm not really looking to do something like that whole 3 month. I'm not interested in that. I said, I'd really like to, we had a call, and I just said, I'd really moving towards this idea of, she knows what VIP days, she comes from the whole Cafe Hello world as well too.
Okay.
And she she said, I said to her, I'm like, how do I do these things in a week, like a concentrated? And so she was totally, I said, it's the first time. So I pitched it to her. She was like, yeah. So, and then I had another client who needs to change what they're doing. And same thing. I said to her, well, you know what? And she's like, oh, this is so good. I love meeting with you or whatever, but she's just not in a place to do the full thing anymore. And so I said to her, why don't we do once a month? One day, a couple of days, a couple of weeks before your month, because she's got things that happen monthly. And she was like, that's amazing. I'm like, oh, I like this.
Like
And
this
then I have
consulting,
another.
kind of like a consulting capacity a little bit, like the stuff that
It
you do
is, but
as opposed to the heavy.
yeah. But also,
But
I think the
action.
ongoing, for me, the ongoing dragged out implementation and ongoing tasks just is the thing I've learned does not excite me. But doing it in concentrated, like, okay, I have a 4-hour block. I don't think it's private. Wendy asked me to do something, and it's like the same thing. She's
Right.
like, I need this. I'm like, I have 2 hours. Okay, I'm
Right.
doing
And
that.
especially because, and I don't know if it's for the other client as well, but like you're the one that built the system. So
Yeah.
when you say I have 2 hours, like, it's going to take you that time. It's not like,
Yeah.
oh, I have to learn what 42 other people have cobbled together and
Yeah.
and that's not fun for me. So I
No.
love that. And I'm so excited. I already have a call with you.
Yeah.
Just
I
write
think
up the
it's good.
proposal first, please.
I feel like it's a way to do that. And, VIP days, this is a style. Well, we all know it. So like you can charge more because it's timely. Like I have one, Christy's already shared it. We're doing one with her to get her stuff sorted. And so I'm doing some with Heather that is different. And then I'm changing to that model for my business, except for publishing because it doesn't work for that. But I basically have publishing clients and then pretty much everyone else is moving to that style of focused, concentrated days in a month.
Okay,
So it feels good.
that's
I
great.
think
I
that's
love
really
that.
good for you and the clients too, because, by the end of that day, whatever the client set out to want to have is in their hands, which is like
Yeah.
instant gratification. And then you're kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
that was done, so it's like works for everyone in a really succinct and
Because
fulfilling
that's
way.
what keeps me up at night is the undone deliverables,
Right.
because you're trying to show like why things get delayed or when you're in all those things and blah, blah, blah. And when you're doing it in this format, here's what we think we can get done. And then you communicate what is getting done. And then,
That's so smart.
and that's
Yep.
it.
It
And then
also
it's like,
gives
oh,
you
book another one.
or it gives you the opportunity to say,
No, thanks.
we won't be booking another one.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
Like
I think
you don't have to offboard,
You said
when
last
you
time-
have a brand new person.
something that stuck with me was like, now I have 12 bosses. And it's like, that's just
Yeah.
not the model.
And
You're-
that's how it's been. It's
Yeah.
been, I recognize that part of that stress is that I went from having one boss that was micromanaging and horrible to not having a full, because not all of them all present company included was not difficult, but there's a bunch of them that are challenging. And I mean, actually everyone I have right now is pretty good. So it's good, but yeah. And then I just talked to someone. I'm going to be doing some business coaching. They're business coaching me. So I finally decided that I needed to do
Awesome.
something like that. So yeah.
Oh
so
my
that's a
gosh,
big
it's so
step.
great. You're going to love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a like Phil KB, right? Like that's an important piece.
Yeah, it was a big step. They're
Right.
the person is kind of a combination of Rachel and myself. So they've got a bit of woo, but they're practical.
Cool.
So I think they're the right fit for me. And yeah, I'm excited, but also really freaked out because it's going to require me to be vulnerable and work on stuff and
You're going to be
all the things.
You're going to do it 1,000 times. So just
I
get
know.
on in there and do
Yeah.
it messy.
Yes,
I
we
know.
can do
It's
our
like, come
things.
on,
We
come
can do
on.
our
That's
thing.
right. Over
You got
and
this.
over and over.
Yeah. So, and I started
More things
taking
are fun things.
Fridays and Saturdays off. So that's the other
Ah,
thing.
look at you. That's great.
Gorgeous.
You could go enjoy
can't-
the minus 100. I mean, my God.
actually
you're not
warm
having that
today.
life. Like, there was somewhere
What
they
is
said
it
that
today?
was like last week, like minus 100. It was on the
Stupid.
Washington Post. I don't even, didn't recognize
It's
this.
That isn't
Stupid.
even real.
I know.
We have
was minus
today in your
46.
world, it's
Minus
26 here
46.
today. Not bad.
My God, Christy, we won't tell them the temperature.
I have become
I know what your
so-
temperature
today's
is
the
because I can
today's
see
the
it.
nicest day it's been in a long time. And I have to say
Whatever.
that I've become very weak in terms of what I can handle in terms
You
of
are turning into an
snow and
Angelina.
weather.
It's happening.
Can I tell you, this week traditionally is beautiful weather where you are. I always was
Really?
able to sell the wedding in that right
Yep.
around Valentine's Day.
Huh?
It's like it's terrible for the flower price, but the weather will be perfect. I guarantee it.
Yeah, and it's been so crazy rainy here and like cold rainy.
Yeah.
Like I was like griping about it the other day. I'm like, I don't even have any cute clothes that I can wear that I feel warm in. I was like, every day I'm just wearing the same gross crap because I'm cold. I'm cold. But today I have a skirt on and a
I know.
tank
You look at the
top
necklace, all
and-
cute.
I'm wearing the same thing, except for I have a super puffy coat for inside the
you-
house instead of the regular puffy coat for
I'm more
inside
like
the house.
Pay like $250 for like the best pair of sweats. I have very expensive sweats, so just so you know.
That's awesome.
So, you know, when I am in my sweats, I'm still very, very stylish.
Very, very stylish in my sweats. I mean,
Right,
this is
but I
the
can't
most
sell
comfortable
a
material in
doll
the
that's
world.
going to change the world for $60. Come on now.
I know.
There is a client at every price.
Yep.
Let those other people sell their doll for $40, not yours.
Yeah, I think that really comes back to, somebody was saying something to me about that too. Like I stretched myself by, sending a bunch of people the link to Heather and I's mastermind, like some people that I follow, like just randomly. And I was like, one person, I just was not sending it to her, and Heather was, and I talked about it, and I said, I just feel like she couldn't blah, blah, blah. And I was doing exactly what you were doing, Cindy. I was predetermining what her abilities and all those
good at
things
that.
were. And we can't do that. Like you don't know the person that's going to walk in there. I mean, you live in a place where people with means live. Like they could walk into that boutique and be like, I literally just, this is something else I haven't done in a really long time. While I was working this week, I totally binged watched the whole Harry and Meghan documentary.
Oh, good.
It
Was
was
it-
good, actually.
Yeah.
It was, I enjoyed
Really?
it. It was good.
Yeah.
But like she lives out there, she could walk into a boutique and pick up a Pendo. Heck, that's totally up her alley,
Yeah.
right? You don't know that, so don't pre-decide who's going to be the person. And you'll get the feedback if you put them at that price point and they don't move, then you can reevaluate, but start with what you think it should be. Don't decide for them. That's what I'm trying not to do either. So we don't
It's
know
true.
what
We live in
someone's
the-
situation is.
We live in the epicenter of White Lotus. So
I know. Oh my God. And something like the triangle of sadness or something along those lines. So it's okay. Yeah. So a little crazy.
you never know who's going to walk in there in that boutique.
No.
And Chrissy, how are you doing these days? The Kathy Heller stuff seems, her like launch, I don't know who her gal is, her sidekick, the psychologist.
Oh, Colleen. Yeah, I guess they've been working together for a while.
Okay.
Um,
Her stuff is really good. She really,
I think she helps bring it back to focus. But
Mhm.
Kathy's such an interesting thing because I think she's like so inspiring, and
she
there are
is.
so many people who leave every container that she has pissed off. So
I
there's,
know.
you
And
know,
she's
and
so in person, like that stuff that you were talking about, connecting she lacks that piece, but man, she's like the godload of, downloads.
I know. So I think you just have to take it for what it is and know what you're getting, So I don't
Yeah.
know. The thing is, so I got enrolled into the Abundant Ever After course.
good.
Because I did the VIP course,
Yeah.
and I got it for like, first of all, they give you $1,000 credit, and then I got it at the super discount. So it was like I paid $0 for it. So I'm just in it, which what they say, when you pay for something, you take it more seriously, and when you don't, you don't. So I'm kind of half-assing that right now. I'm trying to figure out how I'm not going to half-ass it. I wrote a really good intake form survey yesterday, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. But at the beginning of the year, I signed up for the breathwork facilitator.
Oh, yeah. I love her.
So
She's
that-
good.
that doesn't
Samantha,
start-
right?
Samantha, yeah. So that's Sam Skelly. So that doesn't start till April, but there's all this pre-work to do for that. And
Okay.
that was a decent financial investment. Then,
Okay.
so I'm in Kathy's thing now. Then I signed up for, this is all in the very beginning, like before all the shit went down with Ravi and all that, which now we're moving forward. We have another call with this like functional nutritionist on Friday to try to like figure out a bunch of shit there. And so anyway, I signed up for this other thing through this woman I met through the podcast course. And so that's kicked off. So and that one is really like learning social media, really figuring out how to launch and for whatever reason. So I had a call with her, and for whatever reason, she's like obsessed with me. Like she wants me to be successful.
This is the social media gal?
Yeah. And she's more than social media. Like she's like a life coach and all this stuff, but she came in through like empowering podcasters to make their podcast better, right? Through social media and engagement.
Oh, got it.
Is she the one who did like the group after you guys got?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. So I'm stuck in a group with those two people that you're talking about.
I know.
Right. So I have to be supportive to those people, even though I know this backstory, which is challenging for me because I'm like, you're an
I'm
asshole.
sorry.
Like, you're an asshole and you're an asshole. Like, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's good to know this stuff, right? But and I am. I still, one of them, I have a lot of respect. I still have a decent amount of respect for. The other one, I just didn't even know in the beginning, and she's the worst one of them all. So I think a lot of what her messages are so ironic to the way that she treated you. So, when you see behind
Agreed. Try editing it while that was happening. I was like, wow. How
it's
can
like
I
when you
be
see behind the curtain,
episode?
you're kind of like, whatever. Anyway, so this woman, I'm in that big group with her, and she has taken a focus to me. And what I realized is that that's the piece that's missing, was always missing with Kathy Heller for me, is that I was always trying to stand out and have her come and say, you're worthy, you're awesome, I want to be your friend, we live next door to each other, let's hang out, you're saying all the messages,
all the things.
blah, blah. And that's never gonna happen, which is still frustrating to me because I'm like, I'm just as worthy and good as all these like power pack besties that you have there. So what is it? And when I'm in community with her, even like in the retreats and everything, it's like she celebrates certain people in a way that they just are like goddesses. And then the rest of the people are just kind of like there. And I guess still looking for that external validation. So that's hurtful to me. And I'm like, what the fuck? What am I doing wrong? But this other woman sees me, and it's going to be like, she's up in my grill. And I think, and what's funny, when I was on a call and we all had to, she's like, I want you to give me your like elevator pitch for your podcast, call the people. And, I was trying to figure mine out. So I waited and raised my hand last. And as other people were pitching theirs, instead of being in theirs, I was like frantically trying to figure out what I was going to say, or whatever. So then when it came to me, she was like, oh my God, whatever. So then I delivered mine, and all the other people in there, she was like, that sounds good, maybe try this, blah blah blah, whatever. But it was like she went really fast, right? And then we're at the end, we have like 5 minutes, and then I say mine, and we ended up staying on 30 more minutes for her. And I was like, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and also exactly what gives me heart palpitations, that I'm taking up too much time and space, and everybody else is looking at it going, what the fuck, why do you get so much more than everyone else? But so anyway, she had me do mine, I delivered it, and she was like, And all these people are like shaking their head and being like, oh my God, like that was amazing, you know, whatever. And she looks at me and goes, all the words are there. Clearly, you know exactly what you're saying. You know exactly how to do this, but do you believe what you're saying? Because I don't know if you believe what you're saying.
Mm.
She's like, so will you do an exercise with me here in public? Like, come
I
back at
love
do it.
her.
I know. Come back at it and do it like you believe it. And I thought, what the fuck? I thought I believed it then. You know what? So I'm like, all of a sudden I'm hot. I'm sweating. My heart is beating so fast. I like can't even see the words on my screen to read. I'm just like, ah. She's like, well, we can, you know, she's like, we can do this after, you know, alone. And I said, no. I said, you haven't met me, but I never back down to a challenge. Like I'm doing this right here and right now. And if I
Sliding
get
it
it
down
wrong,
page, maybe.
then we'll go do it in private. Like then
Right.
we'll go do it in private, right? So she's like, okay. So I don't even know what I did. I just went like, I closed my eyes. I was like, yeah, you know, whatever, anything. So the woman that you were working with, KB, the decenter one, the more decent one,
Exhibit B.
she was in the retreat with
I
me.
think we can say
Kathy-
their names within the confines of this
Okay, her
group.
name's also Christina.
Her name is Christina.
She
And the other one's name is Karen. So when you say somebody's a Karen, it's very
really is.
Yes, my kids always say that. It's so funny.
So the Christina was at the live retreat at Kathy's with me.
right.
And
Yeah.
so after this whole thing goes on, everybody's like, oh my God, that was incredible and amazing and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, as I always do, is this bullshit? Like, did I actually really shift? Did something really happen? Or is everyone just drinking the fucking Kool-Aid? And so the guru says, I'm going to do this exercise and she's going to shift. And then I do it. And then everyone's like, yeah, she shifted. Did I? I don't know. You know, this is me, right? This is me. But I felt different, right? But I was like, I don't know. Anyway, Christina says we're 20 minutes over time now. And this woman, Christina, unmutes herself and says, I'm sorry, can I just say something really vulnerable? Christy, is it okay if I share something really vulnerable about you? And I'm thinking, I guess, but when somebody says it, you don't even know what it's going to be. Like, is it positive? Is it like, what's about to happen here? So then I'm really hot. I'm like, oh, this is about to go down. Like, oh God, you know, like I was like, oh my God. So she goes, you know, Christy and I were at Kathy Heller's live retreat together, and Kathy called her up and like they did their thing together. And she's like, I just have to say, even Kathy, Christy, couldn't crack you. She couldn't crack you. She couldn't. She tried, and you are just uncrackable. She couldn't crack you. And I just saw it here. She's like, it just happened. You just unleashed. And I was like, you know, I was just like, okay. But I'm still sitting there like, did I? Like, I'm like, you don't actually really know me, and you're kind of an asshole. And like,
Why are you discounting it?
Yeah, it's just what we do. Yeah.
Why are you discounting it? Why
Yeah.
are you, even when you were saying this girl's all into me and it's so great and whatever, and then she gives me all this attention and whatever, and
I know.
stop whatever, like it's
Yeah,
what you
stop
want
whatever.
and it's what you
Does
stop
anybody have a
whatever.
button?
It's receive, arms open wide. How may I be of service? How
Yeah.
may I receive?
And even from someone like Christina, who you know, I mean, the situation that she and I had was shitty, and she did not act in integrity in that one instance. She's not a shitty person. I mean, her, you know, most of the experiences I had with her were positive. Even the one where she had a meltdown, like she was stood up for herself, and it helped me grow in a lot of ways. The sneaky, shitty thing she did at the end was not so great, and she's never owned up to that. So whatever. But we all do crap that's not, like, everyone has a moment. So the other person, however, is a crazy person. I'm not even going to go.
No, she is.
I forgive her and I put it out there, but she is nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's been interesting to navigate with that crazy person too, because I'm
Yes.
holding her like
I'm
arms,
sorry.
you know, but No, it's good
Yes.
because you should know about, I just feel like she's out of integrity. Her messages are all like love and light, and then
Oh
she's
yeah,
being really
totally.
other human beings. So whatever.
Yeah.
But so I'm holding this. So basically, I decided that there's just a lot happening, right? But this woman, I think, is actually going to help me get things out that I charge money for,
Yeah.
Right.
I think is the thing. And so,
You should try to get in front of people that are your people, I think.
I
Right.
think that's it. And even like from the beginning, like she DM'd me behind and she's like, oh my God, I'm so glad like you joined this thing. She's like, honestly, when I built this thing, I thought I built it for you. She's like, actually you were the
Oh.
person, because in all the interactions and all the things, she's like, and honestly, I got all these downloads. Like, I want to partner and collaborate on stuff like and habits and da da da. She's like, I just have so many ideas that we haven't talked about yet. But I just think she's one of those people that, and coincidentally, she's going to Coachella too. Did I tell you guys I'm going to Coachella?
That's fine.
No.
You say-
I'm afraid that I'm gonna lose you guys in a second when Amelia gets in the car, but I just want to say, I'm so excited that you have someone who's obsessed with you.
Me too.
And I'm so excited because that's what you need
Yeah.
who's like, she's obsessed, but she's also like up leveled so she can pull you there. Like you're ready to go. Like you've had a
Yeah.
lot of people obsessed with you that are stupid and not where you want to go.
Yeah.
So I love this and I hope you let her in.
Well, I think that she's just like, it's a small enough container where she can give me like a lot of attention. And I think that that's maybe like, I need my feet held to the fire to like
Right.
actually do this stuff. Right.
And
I
it's
think
her
that's true.
it's her responsibility to do the time management of the group call, not yours.
Yeah.
So if she gives you 45
Yeah.
minutes of an hour call, you have paid, I almost said a bad word. You've paid for that.
Recorded.
I know. You've paid for that 45 minutes in 1,000 other courses.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everybody else is getting something out of that coaching, even though it's not their one-on-one.
Oh my
I
God.
get so much out of the coaching that of the
I
other 10
agree.
people at the
Yeah.
table.
I
When
bet.
it's my turn, I can't hear it all. It's
That's
too
Yeah.
right.
much.
That's right.
So you are doing a huge service to the other
Yeah.
people in that course when you take up all that time because they can hear it.
And not to mention, you have this amazing skill of articulating inside out. So like a lot of times, someone's like in the hot seat, their ego will not allow them to actually really hear it. And you, if you are going to have to listen to someone else and witness their story, you have the ability to like, the gift really of articulating like the shittiness of things that we feel on the inside, that, all the things that we have issue with. And so I think that there's a lot of value. That's maybe why she kept you on the, on the hot seat for 30 minutes, not because you're just running
Mhm.
out.
Right.
Yeah,
I know,
and those
so-
two people that, even when I was working with them, they mentioned you, like obviously Christina did, because you're part of why she came to me. So like they saw your dynamic, and Karen mentioned you without knowing I know you, in a way like, oh my God, there's this woman and she has this and I just at that point did not like her. So I just was like, I'm not telling you that she's like my bestie. So just unless you say something crap about her, I'm going to let you say crap, and then I'm going to embarrass you by telling you she's one of my best friends. She didn't. So
Don't mess with the queen.
I
Don't
had
mess
that
with the
moment on a train one time, because when I used to take the commuter train, my older sister took the train from when it very early started. She worked for federal government, so there's a lot of people, and there was someone, and people talk out loud on those kinds of things, and they shouldn't. And I was sitting there and they were talking all this stuff, and it was a situation I already knew about because there was some bad thing happened at my sister's work, and they were going on and on and on, and then they said something about her, but not in a negative way. And I didn't like this person. I knew who she was, and she didn't really know who I was. And at the end, I didn't embarrass her in front of anyone because that's mean and not totally me. But later, when at the end, when she was leaving, we get off at the same stop. And I leaned over to her and I said, you might want to be mindful of what you talk about out loud on a commuter train. And she's looked at me, she goes, oh, why? I said, Jennifer's my sister. And she was like,
Yeah, that was good advice.
and JB was like, I can't believe you said that. I'm like, I know it was an out of body experience. It's totally not like me to do that, but I was
Ballsy,
just
love
like,
it.
I didn't like her, but I have a mean girl moment once in a while.
I know,
guess.
you guys, it was so good. Thank you. Chrissy, yes, I want to work with you. So let's figure out, I know the pricing game is always like a disaster with us. So
The two of us, we're like,
I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. What are you going to give?
that's why we have to let Wendy do
I
it.
know,
She's
I
our
know.
broker.
I know. So, okay, think about it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.